morning you guys, it's Karen and I'm here to do a quick review for you of these. These are the Indeed Labs Bakuchiol Reface pads. So they are just kind of like you would get the acid type pads. I'll show you what. Is that one? Yeah, they're quite thick actually. They're quite thick, they're quite soft. They've got sort of little, what do you call those, bumps on one side, I can't think of the word, and then it's smooth on the other side. They're not very they're not filled with product, so you can see if I squeeze it nothing comes out. It's quite dry. You can see a bit on my fingers there, but I saw these and was intrigued. I was like, okay, there's nothing out like that as far as I know. I'm just gonna, might as well use this one to clean my hands and rub it over my hands. And I did that ingredient spotlight video on Bakuchiol. And so it's an ingredient that I'm very interested in. These are £19.99 from Boots. You get 30 pads in here and it recommends to use one morning and night. So if you use them as directed, it's quite expensive really because they'll only last half a month. So it would cost you £40 a month. So this was something that I was curious to try, but I couldn't see that I would end up with it being in my routine full time. But I've just been using them once a day in the evening after I take my makeup off, use my micellar water kind of as a toner, and then I would just use one of these to go over my face. This has lots of ingredients in it in addition to Bakuchiol. The Bakuchiol that's in it is something called Syntanol, I think it's called, or Citanol, which is basically Bakuchiol. And when you look at the Citanol, the only thing I would say is that it gives you recommendations for how to formulate it. And one of the things it says is it should be in opaque, airless packaging. So this is obviously opaque, but it is not airless because you open it and you can use them. So I'm not sure how stable, although it's a more stable product than retinol, I'm not sure how stable it would be because it does say to keep it away from air. And with this being, you know, you're letting in a lot of air every single time you open this. So that was a bit of a concern. The other ingredients in here, the second ingredient in this is niacinamide. So Bakuchiol isn't up there at the top. It doesn't tell you the percentage of Bakuchiol in here, but it's ingredient number 4, so it's not like way down on the list. So number 2 is niacinamide, number 1 is water, number 2 is niacinamide. I think then there's some kind of preservative. Then there is Bakuchiol, and then further down on this is citric acid. I mention that because I have found this makes my skin a little bit sensitive, only a tiny bit, but when I particularly noticed it was I used the ordinary AHA, the 30% mask, you know, the red one, the pure red one. I put that on my face, removed it within 5 minutes, but then when I used this that evening, my face went bright red. I didn't get that reaction from this at any other time, and I haven't had that reaction when using the ordinary AHA mask. It just seems to be the combination of both, so I would imagine it might be the citric acid. But I had noticed as well when I was using this that if I put my lactic acid on, or if I put, I'm trying to think what else there was, I don't know, other things on my face, there was just a little bit of tingling, a little bit more tingling than when I don't use these. I suppose I'm telling you that because if you've got sensitive skin, just be very, very careful. There's no alcohol and there's no fragrance in here, but yeah, citric acid is obviously something, I haven't done a video on that, but it is an acid and is something that you would need to be careful with. When I did the ingredient spotlight video on Bakuchiol, a lot of you mentioned that you were using these, or a few of you, not a lot, but a few people mentioned that you had bought and were using these and really enjoying them. I would say I'm a bit kind of neither here nor there about them. They're nice. I like the ingredient and I have no problems with the ingredients in here, other than I don't know the concentration of the Bakuchiol. I feel like what I'm getting on my skin is the citric acid, even though that's a lot lower on the ingredient list. And I personally wouldn't use the fact that it's open when I can see that the recommendations for that ingredient is to be in airless packaging would bother me. And actually pads are not something I would really use for a concentrated anti-aging ingredient. I would use pads for like a salicylic acid pad just to wipe over the skin if they were quite wet, but this isn't. I don't know if I'm explaining myself right. In order to, for Bakuchiol, I want to get it more concentrated than just wiping a pad over my face that isn't very moist, that I don't feel much of the product coming off on my face. So I would prefer to get something like an oil where I can use that and put it on my face and leave it on my face and get the right amount from it. And actually I was just thinking there, oh, I could like put some, I could definitely make up some kind of concoction myself and pour it onto these pads, but I just don't see the point because you're then throwing the pad away, so why not just put it on your face? So I like them, but they're not, certainly not a repurchase for me, but it was interesting to try them, and I do still love Bakuchiol. And that I just showed you there, this is the Eco Aurus Babchi oil. This is the first one I've got. It was more expensive, but this is the first one I've got. Let me see if I can get a spot out. It's actually, yeah, I wasn't sure if I was going to keep this top on because it doesn't seem to be working. No, it's not going to come out enough for me to show you, but take my word for it. This one is a yellow colour, and all the other ones that I've got are clear. Excuse me, itchy nose. So I wonder if this one is more of the actual pure extract. So I put a bit on my neck, and I'm just going to wait another few days and make sure that I don't come out, I'm not allergic to it in any way, you know, I just put a bit undiluted on my neck to see what the reaction is, and then I'll put a bit on my face and do the same thing and then take it from there. But I think this might be a bit purer than any of the other ones. I'll link that for you just in case you're interested, and I'll also link these. So that's everything. Let me know your experience with them. Okay, that's everything. I will list all of my makeup, etc. in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll speak to you again soon.